Hey, how's it going, boys? Today I'm going to do something quite a bit different than my normal videos. As you all know, I like to talk about subjects I find interesting from time to time, just to fill in the upload schedule, and today's that beautiful day. Today I'm going to be talking about a topic. I'm sure you're all familiar with this topic just because of how relevant and universal it is. And yes, of course, I'm talking about the political state of Pakistan.
Why does Pakistan keep taking IMF loans knowing they'll cripple the economy? Is this a deliberate scheme to keep the nation indebted and compliant with foreign powers?
Today I'm going to talk about that feeling of being lost in life. A feeling like you don't know what you are doing, and feeling like you're just living day to day, no more than just for the sake of waking up for another one. I'm pretty sure people who watch my content are somewhat familiar with this, especially because you're probably in your late teens or early 20s, still trying to pave your own way in life. There's no need to be ashamed of feeling it. I think it's a phase that almost everyone goes through. And in some ways, it's kind of like a rite of passage, preparing you for what's to come of your career or your future relationships. Now, the reason why I want to talk about it is because it's fairly easy to look at other people and assume that they got all their shit together. Although it may seem like it's usually because people don't really talk about the problem. People, especially in their early adulthood, like me and most of you guys out there, they try to appear as complete and competent as possible. It's not that they don't have these problems, okay? It's just that most of them are better at hiding it, and they don't talk about it publicly in a YouTube video like I do. First of all, if you feel this way, know that your feelings are valid and your struggles are real. I do not know the specifics of your suffering, nor do I want to know to add to my own burden, but almost everyone has felt that moment where you feel lost without a purpose, that you just can't seem to see where you will be in the future. A week ago, I hung out with a friend and I was telling a story about how I don't even remember the days. It just seems to blend in together. I don't even know what day it was that day. See, no matter what you think about me, it's actually one of my biggest struggles from the past year. I've been counting how many days it has been since I left to study abroad, and counting how many till I graduate and fly back home. It's crazy how happy I can be sometimes, but also lost in what I want for the future. And I believe that is something you need to hear, and I believe it's also something you relate to, maybe. But yeah, going through all of it alone just makes it a harder battle to fight, so you definitely needed to hear that. I'm not fully out of the loop just yet, but while my left foot is still in the quicksand, my right foot is slowly snuggling its way out of it. So I feel like it's a good time to talk about this, given that I'm feeling a bit clearer now. So hopefully this video will help a guy or two. Feeling like this for about 6 months now, what I realized contributed to this vicious cycle was the clarity of my problem itself. So first, what you gotta do is to ask yourself, what do I actually mean by feeling lost? What is your own definition of it? Like, sit down and think what you actually mean by that and where it actually comes from. Maybe it could be that you were just at an impasse in life, like you don't know what to do or what you want, so you're just sitting there in limbo. Or maybe you just got dumped, boo-hoo, and realized that your efforts of keeping that relationship was all for nothing. And now, because you don't have something or someone to cling to, you feel lost. You can feel lost from almost anything, and you gotta know your own situation. It might also be this existential thing. Maybe it's only months away from your graduation, and despite the good grades and experiences you've learned, you still don't know what to fucking do with your future. Well, if it isn't so obvious, that's the case for me. Every day I wake up, I've been feeling that time ticking, baby. Sometimes I wake up and I just sit there on the bed for an hour not doing anything because I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm so clueless that it actually hurts. And for the longest time ever, I feel like I need an impulse. But I don't have that shit anymore. I used to be super competitive at CSGO. I had like 4,000 hours on it and I went on a couple tournaments. This will be something that I say to my grave. And sometimes I wonder where all that dedication and motivation went. I've had weeks of myself in this position and I hated every bit of it. There are also times where I shrug this feeling off for a day or two, but somehow the next day I wake up even worse than I felt before. It seems like an unsolvable problem, and I thought that if I keep on thinking and trying to solve it day by day, one day it will be solved. I thought that I could think my way out of this, but a big part of what contributes to that problem is actually thinking about the problem. You know, the thing that made me feel more and more stuck is actually the thing that I thought was helping me. Always thinking about how to solve an issue and get out of it does not actually lead you to anything. Well, context matters, of course, but in this context, it does not. Speaking from my own experience, most of the problems I solve, it's either I forget about it or I found a solution to it when I'm not actually thinking about it. One way of easing this feeling of being lost is an anecdote of mine. I edit videos, of course. I'm a YouTuber, and for most of the time, my timeline looks like this. It looks super messy, it looks super chaotic, and when I look back at what I have done, I tell myself, how the fuck did I even keep up with that? But every time I edit, I do not think of it that way. I never thought of how complex the process will be because I just take it step by step. And that's the mindset you gotta be putting. To not think about how you're gonna do things, how you're gonna fill in that gap, that void about feeling lost. You just don't. You focus on whatever the task you are doing. You know, it's wise to think of your issues and strategize for it. It's wise to plan and to go over things for the future, but thinking every single day about how you're going to overcome that feeling just gives those problems all the more reason to have power over your reality. And also, it might be that you're neglecting your responsibilities, but you are not. In fact, you're focusing on something that's even more important, your well-being. If you're still having a problem with that advice and it's all too theoretical for you, maybe try to go in with a mindset where you're a golden retriever and every stimulus you're given is a distraction you should take. Sooner or later, the more you become distracted by these little things, the more you notice that the mind slips away at these moments. And at those times is where you can feel these moments of blissful ignorance. I know that sounds super liberal and gay, and it definitely is. There's plenty more of that, hold on. But it's true to a certain extent. You gotta agree with me on that. Another thing that helped me to ease that feeling is watching my childhood YouTubers. People I always tune in every time I went back from school. Recently I've been watching Sunday playing Minecraft Prison, and it's been great to revisit those videos. It makes me nostalgic, actually. It really makes me happy looking back at the Team Crafted boys before half of them quit and one of them became an abuser. Which is crazy, by the way. It's not really the act of watching my favorite childhood YouTubers that helped me, but it's that act of engaging with something that once made you happy. Again, I'm gonna say some liberal shit here, but it's kind of magical to indulge in nostalgia. It fills up those bad feelings with good ones. Also, keep a journal. The reason for having one is not because you want to feel all artsy and mighty about it. It's not even for the sake of writing your thoughts. The reason why you keep a journal is to give you proof that things will pass. Trust me, there are certain days where I think that I'm cooked beyond measure. Fucking cooked. But as I write down my feelings day after day and compare them side by side, I realize just how corny I was. That's the point of writing it down on a piece of paper. It gives you that evidence that you're just gonna plow through it, because you always do. And just like that, boys, you're feeling better now, and your feelings of being lost in life is now cured. Now subscribe so I can finally get 1,000 subs. Chop chop, guys. I want that money. Goddamn. Of course, this is context dependent, so if you're like 35 and faking an illness just to get well-being checks, the things I talk about may not apply to you. You gotta be smart with the advice I'm giving, and another advice I would give to you is to not take my advice, which is kind of stupid, but it does have some truth to it. You gotta think of the advice that people give to you, but at the end of the day, everything will turn out to be okay. Trust me, bro. And if it makes you feel better, I think I'm cooked beyond measure. Like I said, I'm cooked, I think. Maybe a bit hyperbolic. I think I have some ideas about my future, but yeah, I know it feels good when others suffer more than you do. Comment if you want more videos like this. And if you have any questions related to life, about anything, go ahead, shoot them in the comments below, and I hope to answer them soon, not sooner, soon. Yeah, see you on the next one, boys. Peace.